Hey everyone, and thanks for listening. Today on our episode of Thrive by Additive Free Lifestyle, that's us, we're episode 198. Do you believe that? We're nearly at 200 mark, Joe. Okay, before I get started, I better do the intro. We're Tracy and Joe. We're two sisters who are very passionate about asking questions and seeking information on things that make us super curious. And one of those things years ago was essential oils, and that's what we're here to talk to you a little bit about today. So Thrive is a podcast show that will help you lower your toxic load, aka use some essential oils, guide you through various stages of life and give you permission to ask questions and seek advice on topics you may not yet understand. And like I said, we are here to talk a little bit about oils, and Joe's got some questions for me, I believe.
Yeah, so in this shorty episode, we're going to focus on some questions that has been hitting our inbox a lot lately. And the first question up, Trace, is I can no longer smell my essential oils. When I'm diffusing them, I can smell them for a little bit and then I can't smell them anymore.
Mm-hmm. This is really, really popular, and it happens. It happens to me, and I'm sure it happens to you too, Joe. Okay, so what happens is your sense of smell becomes accustomed to that particular fragrance, and this will happen over any fragrance that you might use. I remember years ago when I used to use perfume, don't anymore, that the same thing would happen. I couldn't smell it, and you'd end up spraying more and more and more on, put a candle on, whatever it might be. So the same thing happens all over the place, like the laundry detergent even. And with your oils though, the really important thing to understand, like you might not be able to smell it. That does not mean that you aren't getting the emotional or health wellness benefits from it. So if you're using them in an ultrasonic diffuser, that essential oil will be coming out into the air and you will still be reaping the rewards of that oil. So don't worry that you can't smell it, but it also might mean that maybe your diffuser needs a clean.
Okay, well, next question then is how do you do that?
To clean your diffuser is really, really simple. Empty it out from water, give it a little wipe out. Then you add like maybe half a cup of vinegar, just pure white vinegar, and pop it on to diffuse for, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Allow it to diffuse for a few minutes, pour that vinegar out, wipe it out again, and then you're good to go.
Easy peasy. Okay,
Really easy.
Next common question we have, and we might just stick to diffusing today, and then we can do another podcast on other things, is how do I know what to diffuse?
That's a good one. Just go with whatever. Like I look at my oily shelf and I'm like, okay, what oils have I got here? That one looks good. That one looks good. I say that. However, if there is a specific ailment in your home, or maybe you've got a stressful moment coming up, or maybe you are stressed yourself, there are definitely oils that can help with stress and anxiety. Frankincense is a huge one that can help with stress and anxiety. There's many, but that one comes to mind. Lemon is really, really great as well.
Adaptive blend.
Adaptive is really great. There's so many that we can use for stress and anxiety. Or like you might have some lurgies in your home, some snotty noses. So you're going to maybe put on some eucalyptus, some easy air. So there's definitely oils that we have for certain occasions. Absolutely. But just general diffusing when nothing's going wrong in the home and you're just like, I just like a pretty smell. Put on your favorites, like put on your absolute favorites. And back to the first question of, but I'm getting used to that. I can't smell it anymore. Mix them up, put something else in there, go rogue and put something really wild in there. Maybe it's patchouli or something that you haven't used in 100 years. And I guarantee you'll smell it.
Yeah. And something that was taught to us many years ago by, I'm not sure who actually, was when you hold the bottle, so a couple of things. When you hold the bottle up to your nose, it can be really strong and it can smell different in a diffuser. So what we were taught is if you're picking like 2 or 3 different essential oils out and you're thinking, I'd like to diffuse a combination of oils today, you can get those bottles, hold them all together, pop them under your nose and give them a little swirl as you smell and see if that combination smells nice together. Now, if it smells too frankincense-y, right, because you've got that in your little bundle in your hand, then lower the frankincense bottle down a little bit, have the 2 other bottles up. So let's say you're holding 3, have a little sniff and go, oh, that smells better. So what you know to do is to put less frankincense in the diffuser and more of the other oils that you had closer to your nose.
Yeah.
Did I explain that well?
I
If you
think
can't
so.
see, yeah. So that's a really, really good hint to do, like when you're trying to figure out what you would like.
Yeah.
Uh,
That also works if you want to make a perfume or something, kind of use the same theory.
yeah, it does, doesn't it? Okay, so how to clean the diffuser, what to diffuse. Okay, another common question is if you have a couple of diffusers in the home, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in my home. How do you know, like, do you put the same oil in every diffuser or can you mix it up? Like, how do you kind of know what to diffuse when you've got a few?
Again, okay. So if they're in my bedrooms, then I'm going to probably use more sleepy time oils, especially at night, of course. If they're in my main living areas, I might be using some sleepy time oils again at night, but in the mornings, I might pop on like some citrus and some peppermints and some things that are more motivational. Or like lighter and brighter or cheerier or sort of those types of things. But I don't care. I just put different ones in my lounge room. I put different ones in my hallway. I put a different something in the kitchen, something different's going in my ensuite. To me, it doesn't actually matter because as I move through the house, those rooms are for various different purposes. And so if I'm in my kitchen and I'm like, right, I've got to get this done and this done and this done and this done. I want oils in there that are going to help me do like keep my brain awake and keep me alert and alive. But if I'm moving into my ensuite, I want to go to the toilet, wash my hands, whatever it might be, maybe I've got something different in there that is more about my immune health or my immune support, or maybe it's just something to make it smell pretty. So yeah, I don't personally care. And the other question that I think get asked a fair bit as well, Jo, is should I empty the water out before I put new oils in? I don't do that either. I just kind of keep topping it all up and keep adding more in there. Sometimes it's the exact same oils that I've used the day before. Most often I'll add something different in. So I'm generally changing my oils up every single day.
Yeah, okay. That is something I do, empty what's left over
Do
in the
you?
diffuse. Yeah,
That's a
I do.
waste. Stop wasting it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm exactly the same, Trace. I just diffuse per room what I feel like putting on.
Yeah.
Really.
Like my office is
And
going to have something different to the lounge room.
Yeah, and I've never really thought about how that might affect your emotional state because the oils do work on an emotional level for different reasons. So, if you have something quite uplifting going and then you walk into another room and it's super calming or whatever, it's never really on the radar to think like that. Just go with your smell. The other day I had Purify going in the kitchen. My media room's not too far from the kitchen, but far enough apart that the diffusers wouldn't meet, like with the smell. But I did have Bergamot Mint going in the media room. And they were just a beautiful combination together for two diffusers that are relatively close, kind of together, where you might walk through and smell both of them. So, yeah, you can do whatever you want. I think they're the most popular questions around diffusing. If you do have another question, feel free to send us an Instagram DM or pop an email. The show notes for this episode, and we can continue to add to these answers if you would like as well. It's going to be found over at additivefreelifestyle.com/podcast 198. So /podcast 198. And thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Make sure you leave a review on the platform that you're listening to this on. It really does help our algorithm. It helps us know if we're on track or not. And make sure, this is actually really important, make sure you hit the subscribe button because then you'll be alerted when a new episode comes up. It will stay into your feed. And quite often when you're subscribed and you're listening to an episode, you jump in your car and your Bluetooth's on, it will automatically start again. I actually love that about podcast shows. Like if I get home and I'm halfway through an episode, next time I get in the car and start the car, it just starts again. I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't have to do anything.
And if one ends, it will just automatically flow on to the next one as well if you're subscribed.
It is. Okay, well, we'll be back next week and we'll talk to you soon.